Hello once again, this is James and welcome to my word processing videos with Microsoft Word. Today we are still continuing with formatting with Microsoft Word on the Home tab using the Home ribbon, and you're going to see a little more formatting which is done. This time around you're going to do some work in the paragraph sub-tab. Now inside here I have some options, among which is the bullets and numberings, the alignment, the shade, the borders, the sorting, line spacing, the indents, and the paragraph markers. So let's start with the alignments. For example, if I highlighted this, by default you will notice that Word aligns the text to the left. That's why you see that your typing starts from the left every time you start typing your work. Supposing I wanted this title to be in the middle, I will highlight my work, click in Align Center, which is the same as Ctrl E. When I click there, notice that my title will come to the middle of the page. Then the next option is Align Text to the left, so that to the right, which is Ctrl R. If I click in that, notice where my title will be. And lastly, this Justify option, Ctrl J. If I do this on this line, it will simply take back this work or this title to the left. So it won't make a little bit of sense there. You would actually assume it has taken it to the left, because if we do the same thing and we say align left, it will still do the same thing. But this makes sense when you have something like a paragraph or a couple of paragraphs highlighted. So notice when I say align text to justify, you see what happens to the edges here. I want you to take a keen look at the edges. So when I say justify, you notice that now the edges where the text is of the same amount, they are straightened up. The work looks a bit organized despite the way it was looking previously. If I undo that, look that the lines don't end at an even space. But if you justify the work, the margins both on the left and the right will be even and the work will look quite neat. So that is what justify does. As I said, if you do it only on a single line of text, it appears as if you've only aligned it to the left. So note that. Then if we move on up to the alignments, let's use this information here, the advantages of e-commerce. If I come here and I click on this drop down arrow, it will give me a list of bullets. And my personal favorite is this. So you notice that the points have been given point indicators known as bullets to show us. You simply pick from the list you want, then it will do that. Alternatively, you could also want to use numbers or letters. The option is also available. These are what we call the numbering options, and the other ones are the bullet options. So if I chose the numbers, I'll get the same thing. Then there's this option here, which is for multi-level bullets. May not be very applicable here. For example, you may have one, then one has a bullet and the bullet has a sub-bullet, or one has A and A also has a subdivision of Roman 1, something like that. Typical when you're writing research books and reports, something of that sort. So basically, that is what happens there. Now, complete the same line, we have the indents. If you decrease the indent, you see how the work keeps moving to the left. If I increase the indent or the paragraphing, you notice how the work moves to the right. It increases the space from the left margin going inwards. The decreased indent reduces the margin going to the left. So if you wanted to put an indent in your work, you can do that. I can also do it here. So if I say increase indent, you notice how that work moves in and moves backwards. So if you saw a document having work like that, that is how you can plainly do it. So that is the paragraph tab. There are a few other options there, like this option here called shading. So if I choose a shade, it will do something like that. Don't confuse this with the text highlight color, this option here. So this one, if I chose this, you see what happens there. And if I chose to do this, and I choose to do this, and I hope you notice the difference. The text highlight color will leave a space where there is no work. It will not color the work, that it doesn't color the space between the lines. The highlight color, the shading, will color everything including the space. So don't confuse these two. If they tell you to use the text highlight color, it is this fella here. And if they tell you to use the shading, it is this fella here. Okay? Text highlight, shading. Text highlight, shading. So that is what happens there. Now, supposing I wanted a border onto this work, that's when this option comes in. By default, it gives you the bottom border. So if I chose that option of bottom border, this is the bottom border. It will draw a line below that work. If I say all borders, the entire work will be engulfed in a border. If I say it no border, it will take away the border from the work. Then lastly but not least, I might have a list of names there. Let's start with me, James, Bob, Jane, Zuck. Okay, so assuming those are enough. Supposing you wanted to sort these names in alphabetical order, ascending or descending. So we'll come to this option here after highlighting them. Then we'll come here and you want to say either we sort them ascending or descending. So we can say let's sort ascending and they say okay. Notice that now Bob is being on top. If I go back and I said sort descending, Bob will be last and Zach will be on top. So basically that is what this sorting option does for us. And lastly, inside this but not least, we have this fella here, which disturbs very many people who have encountered Microsoft Word, and it quite gives them a headache, and they sometimes press it by mistake without knowing it. It's the paragraph indicator. So when you click on it, it will bring these annoying signs into your work. Whatever you do, you may not be able to shake them off. Even if you undo, you notice that they don't go away. You undo all the other options, but it's one of those options you can't undo. So that option here, which is show or hide a paragraph marks, sometimes you may press it by mistake by pressing Ctrl and the asterisk or the multiplication sign. If I bring this keyboard, so if I press Ctrl, then I came and did the asterisk, you notice that they will come. So those are quite annoying fellas which may not go away even if you undo your work. So the best thing to do is to come back and click on them. Of course, if you do it by mistake, when you press Ctrl and the asterisk or the multiplication sign, it may be hard for you to notice that you put them. So I hope that trick helps you to learn something about that. So thanks for watching once again. Don't forget to like and subscribe. See you in the next video.